Hello and welcome to Inside the Pod. We're focusing on vining pea growers this week as we take you inside the Pea and Bean Conference, which was organised by the British Growers Association, held at the Boston United Football Stadium in Lincolnshire earlier this month. There was a really nice range of speakers from across the industry and indeed across Europe, because we had a cohort of growers from Belgium, France and beyond in attendance. And the agenda was equally as diverse. We heard from growers, industry representatives, sponsors, scientists and even a politician in the form of Rupert Lowe, who some of you may remember as the chairman of Southampton Football Club, but is now a Reform MP and a farmer in the Cotswolds. It was a full day, so I'm not going to attempt to summarise everything, but here are some of the key things that the audience heard that relate to practical farming, the sort of things that affect your businesses, rather than reporting on all of the presentations, as good as they were. Let's start with Simon Conway and the newly formed Horticulture Crop Protection Ltd company. Now, you'll all be familiar with the small matter of the disbandment of the AHDB Horticulture Levy Board, which took place after growers voted no to its continuation. One of the key concerns from the vining pea sector was going to be around who was going to pick up the work for applying for extensions of authorisations for minor use, EMUs, and also emergency authorisations, which we all know are incredibly important to growers who need specific products or actives to be available to use on their crop. At the 2022 Pea and Bean Conference, it was hinted that a joined-up approach or a voluntary approach would be adopted by the industry to direct funds towards a body that could carry out this important work on behalf of the industry. That work has now been completed, and the setting up of the Horticulture Crop Protection Company is now in full swing. And at the conference, we heard from Simon Conway, who's the part-time chief executive of the organisation, and he told us exactly what they've been up to since it was formed. To start with, Simon explained just how challenging the crop protection environment is at the moment.
There is a direction of travel that is quite concerning. We desperately need some government policy. I'll come on to supplies later in terms of direction, because the wider outcome supply chain is really struggling because of the lack of policy direction we've got in the UK, and definitely needs to start showing its hand pretty quick. Otherwise, we are going to just be in a situation where we lose most of the actives that growers need.
Simon also set out the running costs of the new HCP business, which he described as being on a shoestring, operating at just a fraction of the budget that was set aside for it at AHDB Horticulture.
So how was it funded? So broadly, across all the horticulture crop sectors, and we've got 32 associations, it's done the same kind of maths that the AHDB levy was done in terms of your sector size. So it works out that the Pea and Bean contribution is about 9,000 a year. That's about 30p a hectare broadly on your size. The running cost of the organisation about 450,000. In context, we said the AHDB levy was raising about 8 million. We're running on about exactly the same costs that we were when the plant protection team was sitting in AHDB. So we're running on a shoestring. We've got one rented room at the National Agricultural Centre. We've got a team of 5, only 2 of those are full-time, and everyone else in the team is part-time. So we are really trying to keep this as lean and mean as we can. The subscription costs are part of that 9,000. For any then application costs that you need to do, and this is where the complete control is over to you as a technical team within the association. You make the decision whether you want to make an application or not. The CRD costs are relatively low. I mean, an EMU, a pure EMU is about £1,700. That's just a pure cost. We just pass those across, there's no margin on that. That's just a pure cost. And the work that my team do, the backwards and forwards with the CRD, is part of the overhead charge.
As Simon explained, HCP has been up and running for about 18 months now, and Simon said he was pleased with its progress.
We're very focused, and it's just purely the only thing my team do is focusing on getting emergency or minor extensions of use through. That's all we do. Completely focused on that, and then we spend a lot of time talking to the contacts within that supply chain, the outcome companies, the CRD directly, and we've got access to a lot of the European database as well to enable that process to go through.
Now on to a topic that gets many pea growers hot under the collar: farm assurance. Red Tractor spent most of 2023 in the media spotlight, with growers questioning whether the scheme delivers real value for money. And speaking at the conference was Sam Trevey, who's the fresh produce technical manager from Red Tractor. He outlined how the scheme was reviewing the way it deals with vining pea growers.
Into next year, we're starting to look more broadly at the future of assurance and how that looks and how things need to change going forward. And this fits into that nicely as part of those work streams.
Growers present questioned Sam on whether a review of the process of farm assurance would result in a reduced cost for pea growers. One member of the audience said farm assurance on just 8 hectares of vining peas was costing him nearly £1,000. This is something he thought would put many growers off if they could only put a small area towards vining pea production. But Sam said the cost of the audit was unlikely to reduce because that is often linked to the certification body carrying out the checks. But duplication of assessment from grower to producer organisation level could be reduced to at least save time. He rejected that the scheme favoured retailers over growers.
I think you can be assured that the farm voice is very much listened to and part of Red Tractor government. We're speaking to the British Growers Association. We have lots of growers and grower representatives on our boards, and we're not just there for the retailers.
In the afternoon, we turned our attention to mental health, and it was great to hear from the Lincolnshire Rural Support Network. I've been working in farming for 18 years, and there was a time when mental health was barely even mentioned in conversation, and now we're seeing dedicated slots to charities such as LRSN, who can offer support at times like this, which is really encouraging. It's been a really tough week for many family farms and the farm businesses who are dealing with challenges around inheritance tax and the other changes brought about in the budget. I'm not going to play any clips from the presentation because the take-home message was clear enough without them. If you or someone you know needs help, there is help out there. That could be LRSN, it could be FCN, it could be YANA, it could be the DPJ, any of the dozens of fantastic organisations that are out there. The message is don't suffer in silence, and there is always a better way. We'll finish today's episode on a slightly lighter note, and that of course means the Yes Peas campaign. Now, if you're a regular listener, you may have heard our interview with the campaign team and Stephen Francis, who's a grower and a chairman of the BGA, talking about how the industry promotes consumption of British peas to consumers. One of the most tangible things the campaign has achieved is to get the pea emoji adopted. Check it on your phones, it is there, believe me. Now the team has turned its attention to knocking avocado on toast off its perch and replacing it with, yes, you guessed it, peas on toast. Here's a snippet of what Hatch PR, who runs the campaign, told the conference.
Peas take on avocado on toast, so we all know it. Lots of kind of millennials, Gen Zers, if you want to call them, love a bit of avocado on toast, but we wanted to highlight that peas are a great alternative and should be the star of the show. So we said there's a new toast topper in town, and that's peas. So we found some Google Trends data, and essentially it found that peas on toast had increased in search volume. I think it was by about 180%. Whilst avocado on toast recipes were declining. So we kind of jumped on the trend. We have our own peas on toast recipes, so if you want to try them, please visit our website, find them on there. But yeah, we kind of pushed those recipes out and highlighted the trend, and we were featured in numerous titles, so The Observer, The Guardian, Telegraph, and I think the key highlight was Waitrose in their Food and Drink 2023 to 2024 report. They reported that following this trend, their sales of frozen peas increased by almost 30%. Which is fantastic. So it kind of shows that, pushing those trends and, highlighting things on, through the media and social media and jumping on those can be really beneficial for increasing sales.
There you go, peas on toast. I've not tried it. I'm not sure I'm going to try it, but if you have, I hope it was delicious and fulfilling. That's all from us today, but it's a busy few weeks coming up, so there'll be lots of episodes coming out in the next few weeks. Crop Tech is just around the corner, and with that, the launch of the 2025 descriptive list. You are all welcome to attend that. That's 10:30 in the Knowledge Hub on the first day at Crop Tech. We'll be joining Chris Judge for that on the next episode, who's carried out the descriptive list evaluations for this year. And we're hoping to catch up with a few of the variety breeders and agents to find out what they have produced for this year's list and which market they intend to go for. So look out for that. Hit the subscribe button on your podcast provider and you'll be alerted every time we've launched a new episode. And if you're listening on YouTube, which is a new place that we're publishing our podcasts, you can give us a like on there too, and that all helps spread the message. We look forward to the next episode, which will be out soon. Until then, take care.